is Ricasuro. My report is all about the continuation of the capital markets. My learning objectives are to know more about the capital markets, to know the process or steps in asset allocation, and have an overview of the portfolio management. So let's have a recap about the capital market. Capital markets are financial markets for the buying and selling of long-term debt or equity-backed securities. These markets channel the wealth of savers to those who can put it to long-term productive use, such as companies or governments making long-term investments. A capital market is in which individuals and institutions trade financial securities. Organizations or institutions in the public and private sectors also often sell securities on the capital market in order to raise funds. So, capital market is divided into two. First, we have the primary market and the secondary market. The primary market is where the new securities are being offered, or also known as the initial public offering. Second is the secondary market, where investors purchase securities or assets from other investors rather than from showing companies themselves. Let's proceed to capital market investment. Capital market investment makes the investors to buy or sell securities in the capital market. The investments in the capital market may either be in bonds or stocks. So we have two types of capital market investment, and that is the bond investment or the stock investment. So let's go over with stock investment. So in stock investment, from the word itself, this is the investment of stocks. So we have different types of investors under stock investment. So we have the technical investors, economist investors, value investors, and cautious investors. But technical investors are those who spend time in studying the stock patterns before trading it. So next is the economist investors. Economist investors take their decision of stock trading depending on the economic forecast. So economic investors do studies about the economic trends, the economic performance of the stocks and of the company. Next is the value investors. Value investors tries to value the stock independently of its market price. So value investors mainly depends on the market stock price. And lastly, the conscious investors. Conscious investors are those who depend on their own measurements and beliefs while making any stock investment. So value investment is investing in a debt instrument that is issued by a company or the government. So next, let's go with asset allocation decision. So asset allocation decision is an investment strategy that aims to balance risk and reward by apportioning a portfolio's assets according to an individual's goals, risk tolerance, and investment horizon. So I have here some of the steps in asset allocation decision. So first, knowing which stocks to buy and when to be in the market is the key to investment success. So as an investor, you should know when to buy or sell your stock. Second, a good investor can predict which way the market is going and which stocks will profit the most. So by monitoring the market trend, we can monitor which stock will profit the most. Third, knowing when the market will fall is a prime concern to the successful investor. So there are times that the market will fall. Like for example, when something went wrong in the country, like political problems or inflation. Fourth, an astute investor can apply superior insight on mispriced stocks. So an astute investor is the one who is capable of making a wise decision on stock investments. So fifth, studying past price movements is an aid to predicting future price movements. So by using some analysis, we can predict the future movements of the stock price by analyzing the past price of the stocks. And lastly, it is reasonably easy to select good advisors and managers because their past track record is a reliable indicator of future success and skill. So these advisors are ones who are experienced in in giving values to stocks, and they are the ones who always monitor the market trends. So next, let's go over with portfolio management. Portfolio management is the art and science of making decisions about investment mix and policy, matching investments to objectives, asset allocation for individuals and institutions, and balancing risk against performance. So performance management, portfolio management is all about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in the choice of debt versus equity, domestic versus international growth versus safety, and many other trade-offs encountered in the attempt to maximize return of a given investment stock. So portfolio management is divided into two, and these are the passive management and the active management. In passive management, the management simply tracks a market index, commonly referred to as indexing or index investing. So passive management relies on the market index of the country. Second is the active management, where it manages a fund's portfolio through investment decisions based on research and decisions on individual holdings. So in active research, we just don't monitor the market trend, but we also do research about the company. So next is the valuation. So first we have stock valuation. Stock valuation is used to determine the intrinsic value of the company. So intrinsic value means the true value of the company's stock. So there are three approaches that we can use in the stock valuation. So first we have the no growth approach. In no growth approach, here we assume that the dividends received by owning the stock does not increase year after year but remains constant. And since we can technically hold the stock forever and pass it on to our legal heirs, we use the present value of perpetuity to value the stock. So the second approach is the constant growth model. The constant growth model uses the assumptions that the dividends will grow. We use the Gordon's constant growth model, which is the present value of a growing perpetuity. So the third approach is the two-stage growth model. The two-stage growth model assumes that dividends will initially grow at a higher rate, followed by a lower rate of growth in dividends. So we have different categories of valuation models. So first we have absolute valuation. So absolute valuation finds the intrinsic or true value of an investment based on its fundamentals. So by using fundamental analysis, we can find the intrinsic value or the true value of an investment stock. So there are three models associated with absolute valuation. First is the dividend discount model. So the dividend discount model calculates the true value of a firm based on the dividends the company pays its shareholders. So the second one is the discounted cash flow model. Discounted cash flow model is normally used when a company doesn't pay a dividend to their shareholders, or if its dividend pattern is irregular. Instead of looking at dividends, the dividend discounted cash flow model uses a firm's discounted future cash flows to value the business. The big advantage of this approach is that it can be used with a wide variety of firms that don't pay dividends. So last one is the comparable method. So in a comparable method, it simply compares the stock's price multiples to a benchmark to determine if the stock is relatively undervalued or overvalued. So this is based on law of one price, which states that two similar assets should be sold on the same price. The initiative nature of this method is one of the reasons it is so popular. So the next category of valuation model is the relative valuation. So relative valuation is when comparing a company in question to other similar companies. And according to some, this method is easier and quicker than the absolute valuation. So here are some multiples that we can use in determining the intrinsic value of the company. So the first one is the price earnings ratio. So price earnings ratio is, we can get the price earnings ratio by dividing the market value over the earnings per share. Next is price to book ratio, in which we divide stock price by the total assets minus intangible assets and liabilities. Last one is the price to sales ratio. We can get that by dividing the share price over the revenue per share. So, in conclusion, capital markets are financial markets for buying and selling long-term debt securities. It is important for an investor to know the factors and trends that could affect the market and to know when's the right time to invest. Lastly, as an investor, it is usual and appropriate to ask help from investment advisors for effective and reliable investment transactions.